Hello, my friend, and welcome to the Business of Creators. Today, I'm sitting down with Amy Madison Law, the new CEO of Blueberry, for a conversation about one of the most innovative spaces emerging in the creator economy.
We create fashion in games. We're zeros and ones. We exist purely on screen in pixels. There is no physical, equivalent made in fabric.
Amy opens up about the world of digital fashion and the powerful new tools Blueberry is building.
We're basically building in like Blender plus Photoshop on top of Roblox to give these players the tools to be able to remix their own designs. It allows the average player to become a designer.
She also talks about the journey that brought her to the role of CEO.
Being an investor is what really allowed me bird's eye view of the industry and identify the opportunities.
And she lays out an ambitious vision for what's ahead.
There is no billion-dollar digital fashion company that exists, but that's what we're building here at Blueberry. I would love Blueberry to be the LVMH of the digital world.
This is an absolutely fascinating look at where digital fashion is heading and a conversation you don't want to miss. So, Amy, what is Blueberry?
First of all, Ian, thank you so much for having me on this podcast. I've been very excited and I'm a big fan. Blueberry, we're a digital fashion house. Our mission is to supercharge the unlimited freedom of expression. And that's something very uniquely special to a digital environment where, the traditional boundaries of whether it's speed to market, gravity, or even tariffs don't exist. And there's all sorts of different levers that you can pull to really gamify and involve play with the users. What makes us uniquely special is that we were birthed in gaming, and so we have over a decade of deep learning experience and engaging with the audience. That makes us really special and unique.
And for anyone hearing the term digital fashion for the first time, how do you define that?
Yeah, that's a really interesting question. And I like to think about it in, I guess, two ways. One is the practical and two, the philosophical. I think from a practical perspective, we're zeros and ones. We exist purely on screen in pixels. There is no physical, equivalent made in fabric that exists in the real world. On the other hand, the philosophical is what is digital fashion? We're interacting with each other on a screen right now. Can you tell what I'm wearing is real? I could be, there could be a green screen, there could be a whole virtual situation going on here. And similarly, when I think about how people engage with fashion in general these days, I'm oftentimes on my phone when I'm watching a fashion show or I'm watching even the Met Gala. I'm not in front of these celebrities or these models or even these, fashion houses in real life. And so is that digital fashion? It exists in a digital format to the majority of the audience that actually is consuming it. And so I think that that's actually something really interesting to think about. And even if you take that a step further, you know, we do digital fashion. Yes, we create fashion in games. Well, if we were to take one of those garments and created a physical version of it and locked away in a vault while millions of people experience it in game, does that make us real fashion all of a sudden and to be taken more seriously in today's age? I think these are all really interesting questions that people are going to start to think about.
Excellent. Well, I'm excited to get into the detail of that. And for listeners who've never logged into Roblox before, can you paint a picture of what it looks like when people wear Blueberry pieces in the game?
Yeah. They look the most beautiful, the coolest version of themselves. That aside, it is literally clothes that you put on your avatar, right? So like what does an avatar begin with? It is a digital representation of you. And it could be, a person with a head, two arms, and two legs. It could be a banana. That's the beauty of existing in a digital world. You really could be whoever you want. And at Blueberry, our motto or tagline is dare to be. Dare to be whoever you want in whatever color, whatever shape, whatever size, and whatever gender. And that really is what makes digital fashion super beautiful. And we exist to really supercharge that. And so that exists in your avatar form. So your profile photo. It also exists on your avatar as you're running around games. So Roblox is a gaming platform. There's millions of games on Roblox, and you run around in these games, whether it's a role play game, a shooter game, a dress up game, and you're wearing Blueberry clothes.
I'm really curious, what makes a good digital fashion piece? Is it like the design, the storytelling, or is it how it moves in the game? What is it?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I think it's all of the above. There's definitely the element of design, just like people care about design in the real world. Design actually matters a lot. The article of clothing still needs to look good. And now I think the difference between platforms, especially gaming platforms like Roblox, in terms of when you think about design is that there's an element of there's beauty and imperfection in the real world. And especially speaking as a fashion designer, I've been spent, the past 2 years designing in the physical world. Every stitch, every pattern, every like garment needs to look a certain way. There's a level of quality to it. Well, in Roblox, there's a lot of beauty in just in putting something out there and experimentation and not being perfect and actually co-creating with your audience and like tweaking it and fixing it along the way. So I think when you think about design, there's different elements to design and what adds value in a digital environment. I think the other things you mentioned where the performance of it, how it moves, absolutely. We at Blueberry spend a lot of time thinking about the creases, the shadowing, how the light hits the texture. There's also an element of rigging and caging when you're thinking about digital worlds. And so once you've finished creating the garment, you actually have to fit it to the model. And so, how does that fit look, right? You don't want an arm to accidentally pop out. And how does that fit look when you're translating it to different size bodies? These are all things that we think about. So, in terms of design, performance, all the typical things that you think about in the real world also apply.
It's fascinating to learn more about it. I know that Roblox creators have earned over $1 billion this year. How do fashion brands fit into the creator economy side of Roblox?
Yeah. $1 billion and we're just getting started, which is absolutely crazy. I think fashion brands have a very, very large role to play. And to give you some context in terms of how early we are, Roblox only released UGC 2 years ago in 23. And Blueberry, we just created the first digital fashion stage on Roblox, the first formal fashion stage. And so we released that in September in collaboration with ESPA, and now all future fashion shows will be on the Blueberry stage. That's how early we are. And we're really, really, really proud of the work that we've done at Blueberry. We are bringing culture, fashion in the truest sense of when you think about fashion in the real world to digital economies, to gaming platforms. We're not just taking, replicas of what exists in the real world and duplicating it. We're coming up with original design. And our thesis is given the audience and given the growth, right? Given the attention spent in these virtual economies, trends and culture they're gonna start in gaming natively. And hopefully we're gonna be the brand that's gonna start them. Why does fashion exist, right? Exists for a multitude of reasons. And I think the same reasons they exist in the real world also apply for the digital world. They exist for self expression, to show status, to show belonging, to show community, to express their mood, identity. These are all people, real life players, right, that exist in the real world that think the same. And now they're just in a digital environment. I actually think that fashion probably has the potential to play an even larger role in a digital economy, and I say that with a little bit of girl math. And in terms of like your bang for your buck, your use per wear out of a garment, right? Especially if you have a limited budget. If you're wearing a shirt, for example, today I've worn this shirt now. I probably if I were to see you tomorrow, Ian, I probably can't wear the same shirt. You might have some questions in terms of, like, do I bathe? Do I do my laundry? Well, in the digital world, there's not only not that expectation for you to change your clothes every day, but it's quite common. And so you get so much more wear out of one garment, but you also have the ability to, you can wear your garment more often, but you can also change your garment multiple times a day. Every single game you go into, you can go into 5 games in 1 hour and change your garment 5 times without having to go home. And so the potential of fashion brands to really access that consumer mindset and that desire to play more with fashion in a zero waste way. You can change clothes, you can buy clothes with absolutely zero waste, I think is really exciting. And I think that we're just scratching the surface right now of what fashion can do, and it's absolutely going to take off if you believe that gaming as an ecosystem is going to increase. More users are going to onboard into it and spend more time, more attention, more money. It's absolutely a playing ground for fashion. And I think that the community would absolutely welcome it.
I love the way you describe this with so much passion. I really want to get into some of the things that you're working on. So I know you're launching a capsule collection with creators like Natasha Panda. Can you tell us more about those?
Yeah, I would absolutely love to. So I had the great privilege of attending Roblox Developers Conference earlier this year. And what it is, for folks that might not know that are listening, is it's this exclusive invite only conference with, the brightest minds in the Roblox ecosystem. It's creators, it's, developers, it's artists that are youth. They're all relatively young that are making, some of them are making millions and millions of dollars, right? It's just pure creativity. At this conference, I found myself surrounded at a certain point with, like half a dozen influencers, Roblox influencers, each of them having several million to double digit millions of followers and viewership across their platforms. And I was extremely, extremely inspired. Community is a word that often gets thrown around. It was thrown around a lot in the metaverse NFT days. It gets thrown around in gaming worlds, but I really got to experience it firsthand, and I really got understood what it meant when I was there in the community interacting with these influencers. And that excitement, that sense of community really inspired me on the spot as I was engaging with these influencers, including Natasha Panda, to think about this capsule collection concept. Now, where did that come from? I took a lot of inspiration from sports teams and, like rock bands and artists, musicians that exist in the real world. As a fan of some of these teams and some of these artists, I really crave for that, that celebrity, that the fan experience, right? And they do a really good job of doing that in the real world with merch. I get to go buy like a t-shirt, a cap of my favorite team, right? And go show my support, to feel part of that family. I get to do the same thing at a Taylor Swift concert, whether it's with, like beaded bracelets or a t-shirt. But that is really missing in the Roblox world, I realize. You have these influencers that are engaging with their fans through gameplay, through, social content, but they don't have that same fan to influencer experience. And I would love to bring it to them in terms of, we have the tools to create the best clothes in the entire ecosystem. We have the team to do it, the designers, the ability to really take the true authentic taste and style of that influencer and flip it and turn it into a digital collection. And in a way that allows the influencer to really add a ton of value to the community, to allow their community to participate with them along their journey. And so we've actually been in conversations not only with Natasha, who you've seen has been an excellent partner. She's one of the most authentic, positive, so much fun people that I've ever met, but also in conversations with a lot of the other influencer partners that we talked to at the conference. In addition, actually, we have Kate Young. We're very privileged to have Kate Young, who is a celebrity stylist, has been in the industry for a very long time, styling, folks from Selena Gomez all the way to Scarlett Johansson. And last year's Roblox Developers Conference, she actually styled some of the influencers on behalf of Blueberry. So we styled them for this gala at the end of the conference in real life. And then we duplicated the real life garments into digital versions a la Blueberry style. And we sold them on the marketplace. And actually, today, if you looked at these garments, they're being sold for multiples more on the secondary market than what they were released for.
Wow, that's very cool. I'm really curious to understand like the detail behind this. So, what kind of creative control do creators get when they collaborate with Blueberry?
I would say a ton of creative control. We have an amazing, amazing team of artists and designers that really do a lot of deep homework and research in terms of what does this creator stand for? What is their specific style? What does their audience look like? We go through all of their socials and do a lot of homework, and we put together sketches. I would say 10 out of 10, every single conversation I've had with these creators, when when I pull up the sketches, initial sketches that we've shown them, they've signed off immediately. It's such a delight to see their eyes light up, and the comments have gotten were, "Wow, Blueberry, you really know what you're doing," to, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe you just captured that detail, that trucker hat, that ice cream hat. Like, I can't believe you noticed," to, "I would wear this in real life. Like, if you designed this right now, I would go on and wear it." And so we do a fantastic job of capturing their essence, their DNA, and adding a Blueberry spin to it, but we love to co-create. The important part of operating in a gaming native economy is, I think there's two words, community is what I've said a bunch now, and co-creation. And that's part of the journey. We want to take these creators, these influencers, their authentic style and bring it to their community because that's what they're looking for. And so we're a very feedback welcome creative process, to put another way.
And I'm really curious, what do the economics look like for a partnership like this?
Yeah, I can't go too much into detail because it is bespoke depending on the creator, but roughly I would look at it in terms of, there's three buckets. One is the upfront costs, right? And some of those costs sometimes just have the designers, the creators on our team to do the end-to-end design and production process. And some of the time, depending on the creator, we'll cover some of those costs as our investment into them. Two, there's a component of revenue share. And so the more sales we have, the more we all benefit and win. And then three is a sense of shared responsibilities. So our responsibilities are, hey, we design and create the garment and do marketing for it. And the creator's responsibility is to excite and engage with their audience and to really communicate this across. And that really comes across, it's come across in different forms, live streaming in one of our games, running contests with our community. We really defer to the creator to decide and design how they best decide to interact with their community.
Excellent. Is there something that surprised you about a creator's approach to digital fashion versus maybe physical fashion?
I think what has been interesting is that, we talked a lot about what is digital fashion. And in the creative process of us designing the digital fashion special capsule collections for these creators, we were taking real life inspiration. So the real life style, whether it's a baggy pair of jeans or a trucker hat, and we were adding the digital spin to it. And the fact that it translated that well, but you can tell at the end of the day when we flip the asset to a digital asset it was uniquely a digital piece that exists in Roblox. In terms of the similarity that really resonated with the creator was surprising. And then also us adding that special element of blueberry that delighted them and surprised them in a way that they might not have thought about, but it just became so natural, and it's such a natural part of their style whereby you almost question like, how did this not exist before? I think that was really delightfully surprising.
And I know you've just launched the Blueberry Creator Studio as well. What problem does it solve for like new designers or fans?
Oh my gosh, I feel like we're entering a new era of not only Roblox but Blueberry as a company. So Roblox launched an API 2 weeks ago now, at the top of the month. And basically, this API allowed users, players, to go into experiences that were set up in this particular way to co create their own custom designs. Now, this has never existed before on the platform. And to even take a step back, we have we have a team of dozens of artists and engineers and creators designing and producing these assets. It is definitely not easy, especially to be producing at the level that we are, where we're taking into consideration, all of those details that I just mentioned. And it's not just what you see on the surface, it's actually the architecture of each garment on the back end that we spend a lot of time on. It's the details that really make a difference. Now, it's very sophisticated work. It doesn't only require the experience, but also the tooling. I mean, it takes a lot of time. Sometimes it takes over an entire week just to create a single garment at the level of detail that we want. And so, what does this tool do? It really democratizes design. It allows the average player to become a designer all of a sudden, right? And how do we partner with the community and really leverage the powers of this tool? Well, we've been around for over a decade. We have thousands of meshes at our disposal. Now that we can really give to the community and really invite them to co-create with us. We've created the tools, we've created the meshes, and we've created the infrastructure now. And when I say infrastructure, we've built on top of Roblox's API. We have layering, we have save, we have redo, undo functions, we have accessory scaling. We're basically building in like Blender plus Photoshop on top of Roblox to give these players the tools to be able to remix their own designs in really simple ways. This is a whole new world, and it's extremely exciting just to see the creations that the audience is coming up with. I think that it also opens up a lot of really lucrative and exciting and creative opportunities to partner with brands and other creators. One way that we're doing this right now is, let's say, with Natasha Panda's collection. We had designed a unique capsule collection for her. Her signature is the panda. So we had a really cute panda beanie, a panda hoodie, panda track pants with little panda uh, dolls on top of it. Well, that was sold on the marketplace in several colorways, black and white and pink. And a bunch of her fans purchased it. Well, now that we have this brand new game, which we're actually launching right now as we speak, Design UGC, her fans can go into the game. They can take the outline mesh of the hoodie and they can make it uniquely their own. It's a one of one. They can publish it, they can own it, they can take it around to other games and wear it and be truly part of the Natasha Panda fan club in their own unique way.
It's so fascinating. What have you learned from watching how players remix and personalize the designs?
I've learned that, man, we have a lot of talented and smart youth and oftentimes kids on this platform. It's absolutely insane, and we take a lot of inspiration from them. I think in a future world, I think that this is a great way to identify talent and invite them to co-create with us. It could be just through the game. It could be as formal designers. It could be, hey, we take the best designs and we turn them into UGC on the marketplace. We can highlight them in our experience. We can even turn them into physical fashion.
I love that. And do you think that that players or creators will almost develop their own labels within Blueberry?
That's definitely the direction that we're starting to experiment with. We have just such a strong team of artists. We have an efficient and optimized team to be able to create assets at the highest quality, the most efficiently. And we love to be able to take, back office or supply chain and work with existing creators and influencers to create their own lines. It is very much the same philosophy as I mentioned in terms of why we decided to work with Natasha Panda. Let's do what we each do best and come together to be able to enhance the fan experience, to be able to add more value to the community and to be able to give back, right? We're really good at creating clothes. We're really good at the production process, the design process, the end to end. These creators are really good at engaging with their audience, right? Knowing exactly what excites them and engaging with them. And so let's come together and give the people what they want. So far, all of the creators that we worked with have been extremely excited. The feedback from the community has been extraordinarily positive. When we see all of these and we're able to see, like a Natasha Panda dress, we're able to see hundreds of our community remix it in their own authentic style. It definitely is something very special and it's something that you can only do in a uniquely digital environment.
Got it. Well, thanks for sharing that. And I'm really curious to understand as well your own background. You've gone from entertainment law and crypto to fashion and now gaming. Can you tell us about that journey?
Well, and it's one of those things where, looking back, all the dots connect. And I'd like to say during the moment that I was making all of these steps strategically to land me in the seat that I am in now, but that would be lying to you. Uh, I think having a career that, you know, um, that touched both law, crypto, and entertainment put me in the middle of a Venn diagram that made me a very special unicorn at the height of the NFT metaverse boom. That is what allowed me to pivot my legal career. I was general counsel of USDC, having spent a decade in the digital assets world. That is what allowed me to pivot my career from being an attorney to being an investor. And being an investor is what really allowed me to see, have a bird's eye view of the industry and identify the opportunities, specifically within gaming and then within gaming, seeing the opportunity for digital fashion as really being white space with no competition, but having a very strong trajectory for growth in the future. 3 years ago, actually, when I was investing with Steve Cohen in this space, we found Blueberry and I tried to invest in Blueberry. We took it all the way through diligence, signed off the term sheet, and then Makers Fund, who is our wonderful investor right now, they actually beat us. And so it's so funny how the world works. Since then, I went and started my own physical fashion company. I booked a one-way ticket to Shanghai and Milan, got accepted to and presented at Milan Fashion Week. My first clients were Beyonce, Kylie Jenner. And so the investors seeing that, hey, I not only had the tech background, the in-depth knowledge of the industry, was able to scale, USDC from 500 million to 50 billion as general counsel. And then now I went and started my own physical fashion company. It was really the intersection of all of these things, the dots connecting that put me in the perfect position to uniquely run a digital fashion company, which is in and of itself so incredibly new. I feel very, very grateful having the opportunity to work in these industries where it's really the wild, wild west. I mean, there's no playbook for crypto. There's no playbook for stable coins. And really, I had to go create it on my own. And I think that that is what really gives me the confidence and the conviction and the trust to not only believe in my instinct, but to really believe in what we're doing here. Uh, there is no playbook for success. There is no billion-dollar digital fashion company that exists, but that's what we're building here at Blueberry, and we're on a really good trajectory to really get there.
And as Steve Jobs says, you can join the dots looking backwards, right? It's very inspiring to hear your journey. Was there like a particular eureka moment when you thought, wow, digital fashion can be $1 billion business?
I think that it really arose when I was doing diligence for Blueberry, and that's what really gave me such high conviction to invest and later join. I mean, I joined Blueberry, and even right now, actually taking a step back, we're in a digital assets, we're in a crypto bull run. I can probably go join any crypto company and have a very lucrative job. Similarly with law, but I'm very specifically choosing to focus on this industry because if you think about it, gaming is the largest industry, the largest entertainment industry, bigger than music, television, movies, all of that combined. It's growing at double-digit growth rates. If you look at a platform like Roblox, last year I had 111 daily active users. Today it has 152 million daily active users. 111 million to 152 million daily active users spending 3 hours a day on the platform. This is just Roblox alone. There are billions of dollars being spent on digital cosmetics, digital skins, digital assets. And yet, if you go to any one of these players, especially on Roblox, and you ask them, "Hey, can you name a brand? Can you name the brand of that t-shirt that you're wearing?" They can't name a brand. That sense of brand affinity, brand loyalty has not translated yet to Roblox in the same way that we view it in the real world. Now, of course, when a company like a brand like Gucci comes on the platform, yes, the players know that Gucci exists. But the vast majority, when we talked about the $1 billion in creator payouts, the vast majority of that is not to the big brands. It's to all of these independents. And all these independents are individual creators right now. And Blueberry is one of the only companies and brands in the world where we're backed by investor dollars. We are a fully scaled team. We're doing this at scale. We're really taking all the learnings that exist in the real world. How do you build a brand? How do you tell a story? How do you engage with their audience? And we're bringing that to a gaming native audience where there are no brands. There's no noise to fight to like have to fight with. And so that really is what is super exciting for Blueberry to be able to take all of those brand building skills and do that in a uniquely digital environment.
It sounds like the opportunity on Roblox is huge, and we've spoken about Roblox at length today. But what's next? What's after Roblox? Are there other games? How do you see that playing out?
Absolutely. Blueberry, we're a brand, right? So we want to be where the audience is, where the players are, where the eyeballs are. We are already on Snapchat. Snapchat is actually half of our business. And Snapchat, of course, is a massive, massive business. It's not gaming, but there's many elements to be gamified. And they also have the same element of the avatar as a representation of you. And so that's really special that we're on Snapchat. And Snapchat is a gated community in terms of you have to get permission to be on there. And so it's literally us next to Prada, next to, the NFL. We are also very, very excited about the developments on Fortnite and hopefully GTA, one day will come out and they'll be UGC friendly. And we would love a store in GTA. But speaking about Fortnite, those opportunities there, I mean, this is where you can apply real numbers at large scale. Of course, it's a private company, so we don't know if these numbers are real, but what's been shared online is let's just take the NFL collection or the Travis Scott collection that they did, capsule collections on Fortnite. Each of these generated around $50 million. And when you take Star Wars or Marvel, you know that that generated even more than these two capsule collections. And so we're just again scratching the surface in terms of what we can do. Fortnite is not truly fully open to UGC yet in the same way that Roblox is, but we're extremely excited for when they do open because we love to tap into that community. We'd love to be able to bring fashion at the highest level to that community of players. And especially given our background, we started off in Second Life where we were designing at the highest fidelity and the highest detail. And so we're really excited to go back to environments where we can really leverage every single pixel, every single additional piece of fidelity and really design for those audiences.
That's great. And do you think, I mean, you mentioned Prada and Gucci. Do you think traditional fashion houses actually understand the scale of what's happening in gaming?
I think they do. I think they do. If you look actually at the history of digital fashion, if you say 10 years ago, I think it was like 2016, Louis Vuitton was in League of Legends. And even before that, they were incorporating Final Fantasy players into their ad campaigns. And so traditional fashion brands, especially the largest fashion houses in the world, have had their eyes on this industry for a while now. Balenciaga Fortnite collaboration was one of the most exciting collaborations. I am not a gamer by trade, but I wanted that collection, right? Like I was digging on StockX for that collection because it obviously sold out instantly and the skins did really, really well in game. And so I don't think that this is a new concept to traditional fashion brands. I do think that they're a little bit weary after the NFT metaverse boom. When that did happen, you saw so many brands tap in. There's clearly appetite for it, not only from the brand perspective, but from a user perspective. But I think that just given that that whole situation existed in a bit of a bubble, right? There might be sensitivities to digital fashion right now, but I do think that it is a mistake to bucket all digital fashion into the same bucket as being the same. The biggest difference, I would say, and that's why I left my career after 10 years in digital assets in the blockchain world and decided to pivot into gaming, still doing digital assets, right? But a digital asset is not the same in a blockchain world, is not the same in a Roblox world where there's actual demand, there's actual users, there's actually money being spent. And so, what I would say to traditional fashion brands that are looking at this space that had previous interests is dabble. You don't have to go in and spend hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars developing your own game. The best way to get in, maybe a little biased, I would say, but would be to partner with someone like us. We have 10 years of experience creating this, of engaging with the audience. We're in the discords every single day, talking to them, finding out exactly what they like. And we also have 10 years of deep data analytics to back this. Come partner with us, whether in our design UGC game, right? Or create a special capsule collection with us. Just dabble and see whether or not there's appetite for it and then learn along the way. It's a relatively low risk way of engaging with a massive, massive captive audience of entire Gen Z and entire Gen Alpha.
Very wise words there. This is 2025. What role do you think AI will play in digital fashion?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. AI has always been a sensitive topic, especially when you're dealing with creatives. We would, of course, love it if AI were to able to speed up, the back end process of creating a mesh, creating a digital asset. It takes days, weeks sometimes to create an asset. That said, the technology does not exist at the level of quality that we need. We've tested every single platform there is out there right now on the market, and there is no end-to-end solution for that. Will that exist in a couple of years? Absolutely. I think the market will go there. I do think that it is still important to have a team of artists and designers on board though, because you can't replace the human touch. You can't replace that human eye and that human element in the process. I would just say that AI would just make things a lot more efficient, allow us to turn around things faster and turn around things more, especially as we're thinking about working with multiple creators, multiple brands, building out really a multi-brand conglomerate. Building out that back end, that shared back end, that shared supply chain tooling is really important for us. And yes, we're always looking at AI solutions. How do we be better?
Well, Amy, it's been really fascinating just to learn about digital fashion. Before we go, I had a couple of final questions. In your ideal world, what does Blueberry look like in 5 years from now?
Yeah. In my ideal world, I always look at LVMH as just such a successful business model. And of course, Bernard Arnault, you mentioned, hey, what gave me conviction that digital fashion can be a billion-dollar brand? Well, look at all the real life physical fashion brands that are multi-billions, right? There's clearly an appetite for expression. There's clearly an appetite for fashion. And and as I mentioned, I think that digital fashion will actually play a larger role in the mindsets of people, not only for that girl math part. It goes so much further. You get so much more wear out of it, but you're just spending so much more time on your screens than in real life. And so I think that the potential is absolutely massive. I would love Blueberry to be the LVMH of the digital world. We started off in specializing in female fashion, but we're very quickly expanding into the boys. We certainly don't want half of the entire Roblox audience or the Snapchat audience to be missing out on all of our wonderful creations. We can even expand into pets. We're also very excited about all of these creator collabs that we're building out. And so I think there's a very real possibility of doing that. I think what makes it even better and more exciting in a digital world is that when you look at LVMH, the brands underneath there or any, fashion conglomerate that exists in the real world, they don't necessarily share back offices. They don't share supply chains. Well, that is something uniquely that we can do in a digital world, right? We can have the same team of artists, the same team of producers. We build out the tech stack in the same way that a Silicon Valley has a team of engineers building out their tech stack, and we can share that tech stack across all of our brands. And so Blueberry is on a very great path of, hey, we know how to build a brand. We know how to engage with the community. We know how to build brand loyalty, and we know how to tell that story, regardless of whether it's a boys brand, a girls brand, a Y2K grunge brand, or a pets brand. And then we also have the supply chain to really optimize the production of that.
That's a great vision that you've got there. And if you could collaborate with one creator or one brand next year, who would it be?
Just one. Gosh, this is gonna be really hard. Just one brand or one creator. I would love to collaborate with Blackpink. I think that K-pop has really taken the entire world by storm. We have experience working with aespa. We are quite deep in Asian culture, especially Korean culture. We're taking a lot of learnings, not only from the music, but also in terms of the retail experience, right? I think that Korean brands like Gentle Monster, like Tambourines, have really done a great job turning the store, the retail experience into such a um, delightful beyond shopping experience. It's almost like walking to Disney. And that's we're taking a lot of learning and applying it to the digital environment, to our game. But yes, would love to be able to partner with Blackpink. I think we'd be able to create some really fun outfits for them.
Excellent. Well, Amy, thank you so much. It's been genuinely really fascinating to learn about digital fashion and your journey and Blueberry and where you are. I really look forward to following that and just seeing the industry blossom. I've got children of my own that play Roblox, and I know that they're always in the game.
Yes,
So I'll be asking them about their own digital fashion and what they're wearing and what they aspire to. So thank you, Amy. It's been great to talk today.
amazing. Thank you so much for the time, Ian.
Thanks for listening to The Business of Creators. I've got some big guests coming, so be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Now, if this is your first time listening, I'm Ian Shepherd, co founder and co CEO of Electrify Video Partners. We invest in large, established creator businesses to accelerate their growth. For creators, that means three things. First, the chance to take money off the table today. Second, the expertise and a team to scale your business faster. And third, a creative transition plan, enabling you to step back or exit the business altogether. We've raised over $100 million and made 10 investments, including YouTube channels Veritasium, Fern, and Fireship. If you're a creator thinking about the next stage, please get in touch to find out more.